Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are blessed to have an international community for the teachings of the Sophia Code. And I wanted to extend a warm welcome from my heart to yours. My name is Kaia Ra, and I'm the author of the Sophia Code. And I am also a channel for our mystery school curriculums, as well as the Oracle for the Sophia Dragon Tribe. It is my great honor, privilege, and pleasure to be here with you for the Heaven and Earth Prayer Collective. We've been gathering for over 6 years now, every month, the third Sunday of every month, to offer free educational ascension resources, transmissions, quantum healing, energy, tools for mentoring with the Ascended Masters. And over this past year, we've been progressively handing this free offering over to the Sophia Code Foundation, which is a registered 501c3 in the United States. And we have a really big vision and a really big prayer for the Sophia Code Foundation that we'll continue to share over the coming years. And I'm just really grateful that we can continue to make this free offering. I've met people at book signings and live events that have shared with me that they have never missed a single prayer call. And when I hear that, my eyes fill up with tears, my heart expands. It's been just so amazing to connect with so many light workers around the world every month for this long. What a joy, what a gift. So thank you for co-creating heaven on earth together with myself, with our team angels, with our Sophia Circle leaders. We are, again, an international global movement to activate the sovereign divinity of humanity with the Sophia Code teachings. So it's my great pleasure to be here with you. And this evening, we're going to be focusing on self-compassion for that full moon energy in Cancer that we're all walking through right now. Usually about 2 to 3 days before the full moon and 2 to 3 days after the full moon, there is a heightened emotional context that we become engaged with internally. And this goes for any full moon cycle. When we are experiencing a full moon in Cancer here at the beginning of 2022, the beginning of the year, I find that that energy is a fascinating way to start off the year. For those of you who are familiar with astrology, this is nothing new, but for those of you who are new to astrology, the archetypal energy of Cancer is very family related. It's connected to the element of water. It's a water sign. And the energy of Cancer helps you discover what you're loyal to, both within yourself, to your friends, family, and community, to your divine purpose, and all of the feelings that attend to those relationships. People who have a lot of Cancer in their astrological charts, they deeply feel their feelings, and they feel the feelings of the relationships that they're in quite acutely. Many people who are Cancers tend to, once they open up, tend to be extremely loyal and extremely caring partners, parents, friends, because they understand the depth of where our feelings can take us. So during this full moon cycle, it's important for us to understand that whether you have any signs in Cancer or not, you're going to be feeling that the moon, which is actually in astrology ruled by Cancer, the full moon is in Cancer right now. So what that means is all of our feelings, which are naturally amplified during a full moon, are particularly exponentially amplified. And I wanted to focus on the positive. Like, what do we get out of feeling our feelings this deeply? And I want to share for myself personally, I've gotten to feel feelings that I couldn't even tap into over this past week. And some of those feelings were absolutely essential to open my heart up to receiving some new energy in my life. And when we access the full spectrum of our feelings, whether it's joy or happiness, peace, it can also be grief, frustration, overwhelm, anger, sadness, depression. It's like when we allow ourselves to give ourselves permission to have the full spectrum of our human journey, the feelings that we feel in our human journey. Number one, it can feel incredibly vulnerable. But number two, feeling all of those feelings provides access to a great deal of our personal power. So, for example, I spent a good part of yesterday in grieving something that needed to be grieved. It absolutely needed to be grieved. I don't regret one moment of the grief and the feeling into it. And I took myself into nature to be with the earth and allow the earth to support me, because we don't have to be alone in those feelings when we are choosing to feel difficult feelings. And I was making a prayer with the earth, and I was walking on a labyrinth, actually. And I could feel the earth's energy rising up to meet me in those feelings. And I could feel how I was so embraced by the love of all that is, by whatever you call God, source, the planet, and my guides, that it was like, I don't have to understand this right now to feel into how much my feelings are telling me to forgive. Because if I forgive, I get to unplug these feelings that do not belong to anyone else. They belong to me. And so you might find yourself during this full moon period being willing to forgive someone or something that happened in your life in an inexplicable way. And what you'll find is that feeling your way into the grief or feeling your way into the anger, and then discovering that grief and that anger, once it's felt into, can actually be unplugged from running any more energy into a situation or person or being that no longer serves you. It's like that act of forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. And then you get to feel more of your own power through the process of feeling your way into the anger, the grief, or the longing for something different, and feeling your way all the way into that forgiveness piece. And then the release of feeling into the release of that forgiveness, and then feeling how the wing, your very own, the soul, your angel wings, the angel wings of your soul just starts to lift you up, and you feel the sovereign empowerment that comes from feeling things that are either new and vulnerable, that may feel good but scary because it's new terrain, or things that don't feel good but still open up new terrain within you. This is a feeling kind of a time right now. And if you're particularly sensitive, psychically open, intuitive, which chances are good you are if you found our platform, because we're a platform that honors the intuitive psychic gifts of the soul that every single person has come into this world with. You know, the other thing that's really interesting about that is you're probably feeling the collective right now in a really big way, because everybody's got their feelings. Oh my God, everybody's got their feelings. And there is a large cross-section of humanity that has completely bought into hook, line, and sinker this global fear narrative and paradigm that's attempting to bring humanity to its knees, to distract humanity so much from its personal empowerment that, you know, the world could literally collapse as a result of that many humans believing this many lies. And so I was talking to our beautiful team angel, Ashley Phoenix, who's also our mystery school coordinator. She said something so beautiful tonight. She said, it's not our job to follow the flow of humanity. It's our job to stay the course. Couldn't have said it better myself. Just so to the point. So what the Sophia Code teaches over and over again, it is not our, as light workers, as earth angels, as sovereign beings that came here to lead the way and embody our divine purpose. It's not our job to sink to the levels, the bottom feeding levels that most of humanity has allowed itself to be traumatized into. Our job is to go within and discover that radiant source light within us that's here to kick some butt in this lifetime in the most powerful, loving way. And when I say kick butt, I mean, it's just like really choose in your own willpower, in your own sovereign creative light force, that you're not going to give into this narrative, and you're going to choose to blaze your own trail, to create your own reality, no matter what the circumstances are around you. And I don't say that lightly. I came from nothing. Nothing. I know what it's like to be up against the entire world and have to blaze my own trail. Do not say that lightly. Know what it's like to be persecuted at the highest levels. So my heart goes out to our light workers around the world that, you know, are in countries such as Australia, parts of Europe, in Asia, that are still battling insane lockdowns, insane mandatory regulations, and that are really just about systemic control. And I want our entire community in this moment, if we could just take a moment to just send out our radiant, unified Christ light to every single light worker around the world that's feeling the heat and the oppression and the tyranny of this narrative around the world, where people are simply fighting for their own bodies, fighting for their children, fighting for their futures, choosing to live in a sovereign paradigm that doesn't go along with the narrative. Let's just visualize the health and well-being right here, right now, for our brothers and sisters around the world. We've got you. Wings up, angels. Let's send that love, that regenerative light of our community. And I invite each and every one of us to extend our angel wings up really, really high, so that it's almost like all of our wingtips are touching like a canopy over this planet. And I'm loving this visual because we went really deep with Mary Magdalene in our YouTube live this past Wednesday. If you haven't caught the replay, it's on YouTube at Kaia Ra Official. Every month we do a live journey through the Sophia Code with a consecutive French translation, because the Sophia Code is also a bestseller in French. And this week was our dissertation on chapter 10 with Mary Magdalene. And God, I've just been feeling Mary Magdalene and Jesus so deeply this week ever since. And they were a big part of welcoming me into that healing space yesterday that I was just sharing briefly about. So here's the thing. We named this year the Year of the Dragons for the Sophia Code community. We have an entire lineup of sovereign soul events this year. Why is that? It's because sovereignty is never been more important. Self-mastery has never been more important. Embodying your higher self, never been more important. This is the greatest get-to of all our lifetimes, is to show the world what it looks like to remain sovereign and free when so many people around the world are choosing to go belly up and become enslaved. This is it. This is us. This is why we came. And it's so great to be here with you this evening in this full moon portal, and to just have all of our feelings about choosing an angelic mission of this size. It's like we get to have all of our feelings about it. We don't have to be constantly happy that we came to this planet when everything looks like it's burning down. Everyone looks like they're going belly up, and it looks like the entire world has lost its freaking mind. You don't have to be happy about that. Our happiness lies in who we are as the daughters and sons of the Most High. Our happiness lies in the fact that our source, Divine Mother, Divine Father, I don't care what you call God, just call upon that energy of God created you as sovereign and equal, completely whole and divine in and of yourself. What does that mean? It means when you come to any planet, because this is not the only planet you've incarnated into, when you dive into a planet and you take on a human bodysuit or any other kind of bodysuit, whatever you choose to experience in that body, it cannot impact the wholeness of your soul. It cannot change the eternal light of your soul. Your soul is an invincible Christ or Buddha light, whatever words make sense to you. We use the word Christ and we use the word Buddha because this connotes something very powerful. These words for centuries to humanity's mind has had a connotation of a divine energy that is beyond this world. This world could not break, but the energy was able to break the matrix of their times. And that same Christ Buddha energy exists within you. And this is what we are here to focus on. Even as it looks like the world is losing its marbles in every direction, we are the sanity, we are the sovereign flame of that God consciousness here on earth. And people are going to have all their ideas and all their opinions about it, because people have feelings and opinions and ideas about everything all of the freaking time. And this full moon in Cancer portal, it's kind of an exceptional moment to get super sober to your sovereignty, and that how you feel about yourself is what's most important. What you believe in about yourself and your future is what's important. Don't give in to this global narrative. Don't give in to the psychically attacked collective field. Thank you for gathering this evening just to remain in that bonfire of sovereign divine light that we choose to cultivate and bask in and expand and grow in every day of this international movement, every day in our mystery school, every day with our Sophia Circle leaders. That is the light we are tending to. That is the sacred flames that we are tending to. And it's such a joy to be here with you, choosing that. Let's choose that and raise the bar higher and higher. Here's the thing. When you choose to step into your sovereignty, when you choose to step outside the narrative, it can often feel extremely painful, right? Because people want to choose sides. People don't want to turn to the light within them. They want to remain in duality, and they want to remain inside the spiritual warfare. But what the Sophia Code does is, through these teachings and through our focus upon who we really are, we become elevated beyond that fifth plane, fourth plane, third plane duality, and we step into a seventh plane consciousness where we identify our divine light is the solution. Our sovereign divine light can airdrop down into this program matrix and literally blast it with our light from the inside out. And when we actually move beyond the ego structure to learn how to co-create and work together and lead together side by side, oh my God, the exponential energy of miracles across the quantum field of humanity's consciousness, it's almost, I can barely describe it, because we're all so deeply connected. So if you know that your neurology is part of the collective neurology, what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to allow that collective, codependent, downtrodden mind overtake your mind? Or are you going to blaze in the divine love and the sacred flame of sovereignty that you are, and send out the rays of Christ consciousness that you are in every direction, which always and forever will burn back the darkness and lift thousands up along with you? Every single person on this call has a significant impact on the people in your family, the people in your community, people in your town, in your country, in your state. You're a lighthouse. You're a lighthouse, and we are a massive lighthouse on this planet. It's actually why we often experience a lot of kind of psychic attacks as a platform, is because this is just such a sovereign divine light mirror for the planet at this time. And we're okay with that. We know exactly what we're doing. We're just going to keep on shining and shining and shining until more and more and more people understand what we're really sharing here. The truth of our shared and equal sovereign divinity. So, okay, that's the first little message that wanted to come through for tonight's prayer. With all of that said, it's important for us to also really take care of our human experience, our human body, hearts and minds, our emotions, when we are, bringing in this much of an angelic mission. And so I was really, really feeling Quan Yin leading up to this prayer collective. We've worked so much with Sophia and our YouTube lives. If you haven't caught our YouTube lives, we've been going live every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific on my channel at Kaia Ra Official. We've been reading through the Sophia Code. I've been answering questions. So please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out those lives when you can, because we're having an incredible time together as a community. So we've been this week, between the Mary Magdalene French translation and our journey in the Sophia Code, we've been really going through creating deeper relationships with the Sophia dragons and with, of course, Divine Mother Sophia. We started chapter 1 of the Sophia Code. And I was really feeling this guided meditation that I'd love to bring us through, that brings us back into that seraph of air, that beautiful Sophia dragon of the element of air that we journeyed with on our New Year's celebration. And if you haven't gotten a chance to listen to those activations, wowzer, make sure you get those at kaira.com. Those are very, very powerful multidimensional activations for the new year. So it's feeling the Sophia dragons, Quan Yin, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sophia. If you're ready for something like that, feel free to say amen, or heavens yes, or I'm willing. Yes, thank you, I accept, I receive. And of course, all of this, what you're going to receive, is going to be directed by your higher self. Yeah, without further ado, I just want to read a passage from the Sophia Code. We're going to invoke our circle of empowerment, and then we're going to get right to it. So I do want to speak to something. I had a friend text me. I hadn't heard from them for like 6 days. I had reached out to them. I was actually going to see if they were going to want to go for a hike with me yesterday when I went into nature. And it was very, very unusual for this person not to get back to me, like almost like within a day. And I thought, well, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I know I'll hear from them when the time is right. And they finally texted me the day of, actually, that I went into this deep nature reserve. And he said, oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. I've had so many people die over the past 3 weeks in my life. I can't even process it. He's like, people that were extremely close to me just literally disappearing off the planet. And I just really want to speak to that there are some really intense, there's a lot of people that have been reaching out to me that are saying very similar things, that they are losing loved ones so unexpectedly and more than usual. And not to go into all of that right now, to unpack that, there are people making some pretty heavy decisions based on this global narrative right now that is impacting how many people are leaving the planet so quickly. And I just really want to speak to that if you are one of those people, I just want to tell you how much we love you, how much we care about you, how much we understand those reasons for why perhaps your loved ones or loved one has passed away. I want to say that you're incredibly strong for being here and for choosing life and for choosing to be a part of the solution. If we could all just actually pray for, in this moment, just visualizing all of our angel wings lifting up those souls on the planet, families that are struggling with injuries from medical choices that have deeply impacted their children, their elders, those who have lost an exponential amount of loved ones. We lift you up in our angel wings. We ask the presence of Divine Mother, Divine Father, God, Sophia Source, to just minister to your heart so that you may feel your heavenly family surrounding you in grace, and all of the angels and all of the archangels and all of our earth angel wings on this planet, every light worker around the world. We unify our hearts and blast this world with our healing light, that there is another solution. There is a much more enlightened path to enlightenment. Like, we understand from the Sophia Code teachings that there is a sovereign path to awakening that no longer needs sacrifice and suffering and tyranny and oppression to wake us up. We send that out through our heart and through our consciousness. But there is another way to wake up beyond oppression. And that if you are ready to personally wake up to your spiritual journey, to embody your higher self, to your direct connection with source, beyond being controlled or oppressed for it, let us all just let go of another layer of how we choose to learn through suffering right here and right now for the liberation of all beings. The liberation of all beings. We choose wellness, we choose wholeness, we choose divine order, we choose the peace of God, we choose the respect of all life, we choose the respect of all people, we choose the reverence for this planet, we choose the reverence for the human body, just as it is here and now. We don't need agendas such as transhumanism to honor our human bodies. Our human bodies are supercomputers. They are divine generators of grace and superpowers that are activated through our divine love. So we send out our immense love, unconditional love for the human body and for humanity, because this is how Sophia, Divine Mother, feels about humanity. We also lift up in our angel wings the children of this world, the children worldwide who are being trafficked, the children that are being born into labs for experimentation, the children that don't even have a chance, that are thrown away almost at the very beginning of their life. We know the prayer that you have, Divine Mother, from the very beginning and end of all time for all children everywhere. And we lift up the children of this world for divine interventions and miracles to unfold, for abuse to end, and for a return to divine love to happen in the heart of humanity, for raising our children up for future generations to come. There is so much that needs to be mended in the sacred hoop of life. So therefore, we call upon our Ascended Master guides, mentors, and we invite our High Council to pray with us, to speak with us, to stand with us, to invoke alongside us these prayers, these meditations, these empowerments, these intentions for 2022, to be a blessing for all, for the liberation of all beings. We welcome in and we call forth the entire Sophia Dragon Tribe, which are thousands of Ascended Masters who are exceptional teachers of how to embody our sovereignty, how to awaken a planet beyond suffering, how to step into a new golden age of miracles, how to nurture and expand evolutionary arcs of growth for a species that desperately needs that level of ascension education. We welcome you forward, our beloved High Council, the Ascended Masters of the Sophia Dragon Tribe. From that countless sea of amazing sovereign beings, we welcome the first 8 revealed key codes to create a circle of empowerment around each and every one of us, and around us as a community, as a collective. And so I welcome in the north, White Buffalo Women and the White Buffalo Star Nation. I also call forth the Order of Sky Grandmothers. I was really feeling the Order of Sky Grandmothers and White Buffalo Women when I was connecting with the earth yesterday, to feel their strength and their power at my back and at our back. How fortunate we are to be mentored by such exceptional souls. In the Northeast, we welcome Ascended Master Winged Isis. And I'm just feeling so much appreciation for these Ascended Masters. I just want to thank each and every one of them as they step forward. I really want to thank Isis for all the ways that she mentors us in our divine purpose. Thank you, beloved Isis, for helping us to create safe and sacred boundaries around our body, hearts, and minds. Thank you for helping us to step up into our sovereignty and to claim our divine inheritance as daughters and sons of God. And thank you, Isis, for just that spiritual protection. Like, there are so many times where Isis supports me in unraveling a psychic attack and also helping our team to take that next level of leadership together collectively. She's such an extraordinary spiritual guide. And it's just welcoming her to deeply bless you and to stand with you this evening, wherever you are in the world. And in the East, I welcome beloved Hathor, and Hathor was Isis's mentor. And of course, now in the higher realms, they work together as one. And so welcoming Hathor and the entire Hathor Star Nation, who are exceptional guides for teaching us how to birth a golden age energy, which we need that full remembrance that this is actually possible in this lifetime, given the current circumstances we now face. And so we welcome and call forth Hathor and the Hathor Star Nation. That's why they brought us to Shambhala, back to Shambhala during the New Year's celebration. We needed a collective as well as personal soul memory of a golden age civilization that we were connected to. And how extraordinary did it feel to fly to that city of light, to be connected with those enlightened ones, to stand in the Dragonheart Temple and look eye to eye with the seraph of sovereignty. My God, imagine what we will build in this lifetime together. In the Southeast, I welcome Green Tara. Of course, Green Tara's teachings come out of Shambhala. And in the South, we welcome beloved Mother Mary. And I'm so excited about the journey we're going to go on with Mother Mary this year. In the Southwest, I welcome Mary Magdalene and Jesus. And in the West, I welcome Quan Yin. So grateful to how Quan Yin has taught me how to love myself in this lifetime. If you would like to say thank you to Quan Yin in this moment for how she has mentored you and helped you heal, feel free to just take a moment to say thank you to Quan Yin. Finally, in the Northwest, I welcome the beloved Seraphim, the Sophia dragons, who are exceptional angelic guides for teaching us how to fully master the spiritual technology of our body and how to live in a very powerful way through our Christ light here on earth. In the center of your circle of empowerment, we welcome your own higher self, your own divine light, flowing through you directly from the source. So I want you to visualize there's this one source light in the universe, and it's only the light and nothing but the light. And it is the light and the consciousness of unconditional love. It's the presence of God. And there's a part of your soul that forever resides constantly in communion with that consciousness. And that is called your Oversoul. And from your Oversoul, there are many aspects of your soul that descend into the lower worlds of creation. And every time a part of your soul descends, it's called a higher self. When your higher self manifests as a human body into form, your higher self becomes a consciousness that you hear in your human awareness that is speaking directly to your Oversoul that's always in communion with Source. You have forever a direct connection to your original source, to your whatever you call God, Spirit. And this is what the narrative, the global narrative that everyone's fallen prey to, this is what it's trying to prevent you from seeing, is your direct connection to the source. Your direct and absolute divine inheritance of your sovereign divine light that can never, and I mean never, be taken away from you in any and all circumstances. It's not possible. They want you to think that it's possible, but you know in this moment, in the circle of your sovereign empowerment, surrounded by sovereign ascended masters, no one and no thing can ever interfere with the invincible light of your soul. And so I welcome you to blaze brighter this evening, to feel the holy waters of your soul flowing fresh upon you, to feel the rays of that sun within the center of your heart, growing brighter and brighter, extending out further and further through your mind, across your circle of empowerment, blazing like a holy sun here into this world, connecting to each and every other member of the Heaven on Earth Prayer Collective that's here praying with you right now. There's a lot of souls here right now visualizing their Christ light alongside you. So what is that? What do we invoke in the center of the circle of our collective circle of empowerment? We would invoke our collective I am presence, that one body of Sophia Christ light that we are, that we are. When we choose to be that awakened together, that's what happens. We remain independent and sovereign, but also interdependent in this larger field of Christ consciousness. And so it's in that beautiful, brilliant light of Christ consciousness that I would love for us to visualize sending a beautiful healing light to your physical body, to the feelings that are arising in your body on this full moon portal. And I'm welcoming Quan Yin to step forward and to be a part of this healing. I'm going to take a time out. Okay. Sorry about that. It's quite active this evening. Okay. So, welcoming the presence of Quan Yin and our base of compassion. Witnessing that beautiful sacred waters flowing from her base. I'm seeing, okay, flowing over your crown chakra, down the back of your neck and over your shoulders. Quan Yin is saying there's a lot of people on this call that have been experiencing a lot of anxiety about staying in the flow of abundance, staying in the flow of God's grace, staying in the flow of prosperity, wanting to ensure that everything's going to be okay for you and your family and for yourself. And she's saying it's perfectly reasonable for the human ego structure to use anxiety and fear to motivate you. But she's saying, step back into the flow of your sovereign divine light. Step back into your conscious direct connection to the source from which all prosperity and abundance flows, from which all blessings flow. And she's inviting you to just open your mouth and just feel that light of prosperity consciousness flowing down your throat, rolling down your tongue, filling up the back of your heart, rolling off your shoulders, giving your angel wings a bird bath. Just say, remember that it's the matrix programming that would cause us to doubt ourselves, but it's the light of your source that reassures you that you are always cared for, you are always provided for, and that life can grow anywhere at all. She's showing me a flower pushing up from a crack in a sidewalk. Life is far more powerful than the destructive forces that are oppressing this planet. The divine will for life to carry on and to thrive beyond these times is perfectly intact and perfectly at play here. She's inviting us to remember that many of the souls that are succumbing to this narrative, many of the souls that are allowing themselves to be oppressed at this level, like unconsciously. We can all experience oppression consciously and know what's happening, but for those who have absolutely no idea and have bought all of this hook, line, and sinker, she's saying, these are souls that have been, allowed themselves to be enslaved in human experiences for many, many centuries. So she's saying, imagine a child that has been traumatized for years. Imagine what it would take for that child to be healed. How many years of healing, how many years of growth? And so if you think in terms of humanity's journey over centuries of traumatization, she's saying, please have compassion for yourself as you witness so many souls, really lost to their own spiritual awakening. And she's saying the journey that you are on means more to others than you might ever give yourself credit for. But in this moment, part of regenerating and receiving this healing light into your body, she's saying you need to receive gratitude for yourself. So if you'd like to practice this together with Quan Yin, as she's blessing you with her waters of compassion, you could place your hand on your heart and you could say, thank you. Thank you for being this much light in the world. I love you. I accept you. No one else has to understand what you're doing, the depth of what you're offering for me to know, because I get to be you every day. And I get to see how you're serving in every way. Allowing the words of that gratitude to flow into every cell of your body, rolling down your back, rejuvenating your heart. And Quan Yin is now bringing her hands to on top of your hands over your heart. And I'm hearing her message that, she's saying it's really important. It's a really important practice of self-love, not only to honor your own feelings right now, but to clearly identify what feelings are not your feelings. So everyone's feeling a lot right now, and it's safe to separate what is your feelings versus the collective. What is your feelings versus your husband or your wife? What are your feelings versus your children or your coworkers? And you can claim what you feel as your own sovereign space. And they can have their own sovereign space and their own sovereign feelings, but those feelings don't have to be your feelings for them to be valid for them and for your feelings to be valid for you. And she's saying this is like the extreme polarization between those who are truly lost and those who are really waking up and living their spiritual journey. She's saying that the contrast is so stark, but wow, what a way to learn about sovereignty through that contrast. It's really not so confusing anymore when you see someone who wants their feelings to be what you feel for them, but you can clearly see something else now. You can see what's real for you and maybe what's really true for them as well. That's called the compassionate witness, which we go into great detail in the psychic development training curriculum of the Sophia Code Mystery School. Talk a lot about that compassionate witness. So I'm hearing from Quan Yin, she wants me to turn to the Sophia Code and read this passage right now as she's bringing this quantum healing light to your heart, soothing your feelings towards yourself about all of these feelings that arise on a full moon in Cancer. And I'm reading from the top of page 250. You could read along with me if you'd like, or you can just receive the words of Quan Yin from the Sophia Code falling fresh upon you as a baptismal waters for your human journey today. The Sanskrit root for compassion is karuna. My definition of karuna is to be so closely held by yourself that no separation can remain within you. To refuse yourself this embrace when you are already suffering immeasurably amplifies the pain that you are already experiencing. What is she saying here? She's saying if you are feeling some really challenging feelings and then you refuse to have compassion for yourself, you're going to feel even worse. It's going to get even worse. So what is the solution? The next paragraph, Quan Yin teaches us embodying karuna compassion begins with learning how to love yourself first before any other person, holding all the parts of yourself throughout every present moment and in every circumstance. It requires softening your heart to accept that the gift of your own compassion is the standard you deserve to experience in your relationship with yourself. Can you imagine if 10 billion human beings on the planet practice karuna compassion to their own hearts? The whole world would spontaneously ascend. Like, oh my God. We don't even know how to love ourselves until we can have some compassion for the one within us that can't love ourselves, right? Wow. And so Quan Yin continues to say, no one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience of suffering for it to be real for you. What is she saying here? She's saying, hey, if you are having a really hard time, it's great if people can support you, but what if they can't? What if they can't understand a tragedy that happened in your life because they have no context for it? At the end of the day, it is your own compassion to yourself because you, more than anyone, know the best about what you have survived or what you feel or what you are experiencing right now. And the warmth and the glow and the life-giving force of your own compassion steps you into this space of self-acceptance, this radical self-acceptance that ironically allows for you to blossom even in the darkest of times. Because if you've got you, you're tapping into the most powerful force, the most sovereign creative power in the universe, your own soul. And it's from that space that other souls are magnetized to you, that authentic, genuine space of self-love and self-compassion and self-acceptance, that other genuine souls are magnetized to you, and a whole new paradigm begins to build itself up around you and through you and for you, to bless you, to bless all of us. Quan Yin is pointing to the full moon. And as I look up, I see this beautiful Sophia dragon dancing across the sky, coming directly towards you. This is the Seraph of Air that we met in the New Year celebration. She's stunning. That those moonbeams are just dancing off of her scales that are singing as she flies and lands right beside you. Such magic, such grace, such empowerment. Notice that her third eye is looking directly into your heart. And there are two questions that this full moon is asking you. Really at the heart of that, when we feel a lot of feelings, it's helping us dig deeper and deeper and deeper into what we really need to sit with and be with in certain chapters of our life. And on this full moon, two questions that the Sophia dragon is speaking into your soul. And the first question is, how do you feel about yourself right now? How do you feel about yourself? And allow whatever thoughts or visions or words or percentages that come forward to you, just simply be there. You don't have to define them, judge them. How do you feel about yourself? Are there attachments that are impacting how you feel about yourself? Are there conditions that are influencing how kind you might let yourself be to yourself? Is there an external factor of success or not success that is influencing how you feel about yourself? Be honest with the Sophia dragon, because she knows it anyways. That's what I love about the Sophia dragons. They're so clear. They invoke pristine clarity within our consciousness to identify that which is arising next within us to be known, loved, felt, revealed, healed, empowered. You might even be surprised by the words that you hear. Feel free to write those words down. How you feel about yourself. The second question that is coming forward from all three, there's the Sophia dragons have the two main eyes, of course, but then they always have an open third eye. And as we discovered in the New Year's Shambhala ceremony, that third eye for the Seraph of air is like a sky blue, like the sky. And all three eyes are looking into your eyes, and she now asks, how do you want to feel about yourself? There's how you feel about yourself. How do you want to feel about yourself in this new year, on this full moon? Are there feelings that are coming up that are a repetitive story of the past, of what you can or cannot receive from yourself in this lifetime? What would it feel like if you felt the way you wanted to feel about yourself? Regardless of how your external reality is a mirror or not a mirror for how you really want to feel about yourself, the mirror begins actually from within. So you may feel the winds of change blowing over you. You may feel an energy picking up as that beautiful Sophia dragon, Divine Mother, Creatrix, angelic embodiment of Sophia's grace just breathes the breath of life over you. You may begin to feel that the countenance of her breath of life, raising the frequency, the resonance of your thoughts about yourself, supporting you to think bigger thoughts about yourself, supporting you to feel kinder feelings towards yourself, supporting you to gently step into a future reality where you actually feel that way that you want to feel about yourself. And that future reality already exists. Maybe even along the timeline of 2022, of this year. And there is a biofeedback with that version of yourself, where you have actually, you've set the intention tonight, here, the beginning of this year, and there's a version of you that you are growing yourself into that actually feels the way that you want to feel about yourself. They already feel that, they live that. They live that life that you want to feel for yourself. And they are sending you so much grace and so much gratitude and so much support and divine love for how you are setting your intention, for how you want to feel about yourself this year. And whatever that prayer is that that your heart is praying for you, that this future version of yourself is praying for you, like, let's just say our mantra. Yes, thank you. I accept. I receive. Yes, thank you. I accept. I receive. Yes, thank you. I accept. I receive. One more time because it feels so good. Yes, thank you. I accept. I receive. And finally, let's collectively send out a blessing to this world. And this blessing goes a little something like this. Dear world, dearest humanity, we love you so much. And we are going to be standing in this sovereign heavenly resonance, waiting for you when you're ready to catch up. Dearest, dearest humanity, we love you so much. And we honor your free will choice to suffer, to grow through suffering, to choose a narrative that is harmful for you, that is harmful to you for the sake of your spiritual awakening, because we know, dearest, dearest humanity, that there will be a point of no return, when this oppression and this control will become so unbearable that you will have to spontaneously awaken to your sovereignty one way or another. But dearest humanity, here and now, we as a sovereign, Christ conscious based community, we choose to step forward, to boldly and courageously live our successful, unconditionally loving and happy lives. We choose to resource the divine light within us to grow brighter and stronger and clearer and even more graceful. As we continue to serve you, humanity, we also choose, first and foremost, to love and serve our own hearts first. And it is from this space that we will be ready for you, dearest humanity, when you are ready to meet us in this space, this grace of a sovereign divine context that is already yours. We won't be giving anything to you that you don't already have, because this sovereign context already lives within you, the very fabric of your collective and individual souls, dearest, dearest humanity. It already exists within you. But we will be here awaiting your arrival. We will be ready as the teachers, the healers, the activists, the advocates, the way showers, the believers in you. We will be waiting for you, but we will no longer hold ourselves back for you. We choose to boldly walk where no one has walked before. We choose to create in ways that no one has ever created before. We choose to co-create with the Ascended Masters, the angelic orders, and the star nations, the Sophia Dragon Tribe. We choose to step forward and to prosper in all circumstances. We choose to honor and love our own heart first, because in this choice, standing here at the beginning of a new year, we know that we are being the most responsible, proactive people that we can be for you. Holding ourselves back doesn't get us ready for your spiritual awakening. Choosing to move forward with our divine purpose, choosing to remain in abundance consciousness, choosing our health is how we get ready for your great awakening. We just simply walked a little bit ahead of you to prepare the way for you. And we love you so much. We'll be here in this golden light. We'll be here in the Sophia Source Christ light of our collective heart. We're here and we're waiting for you. And we love you and we trust your timing, but we will not leave this resonance for you, because that would be called codependency. And we are choosing to live in the glory of our sovereignty. And so it is. Amen. From this space of grace, we now seal these prayers, these healing transmissions, this lightning medicine within the light and fire of each of our own Holy Spirits, our individual sovereign souls, as well as the collective I am presence that is born witness to these prayers, these intentions, these invocations, and these co-creative choices of sovereign empowerment. Knowing that we go forth from this evening surrounded by the grace, the protection, the empowerment of the Sophia Dragon Tribe, our Ascended Master Key Code guides and teachers. I want to send out an extraordinary thank you to Quan Yin for activating this level of the compassionate witness within us. I can't speak enough about that class in the psychic development training. I highly recommend that course for 2022, because we all need every one of our chakras fully activated to our intuition. I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's such an honor to be here with you. Thank you for inspiring such a powerful prayer for humanity, and of course for our own hearts. I'll see you all on YouTube live at 8 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. And please, if you haven't checked out our calendar of live events for 2022, check that out at kaira.com. Talk about going against the grain. When I chose to create these events for this year, it's to take a stand. that, you know, that we're going to stay in the brilliance of our sovereign divine light. We're going to continue to gather, of course, with safety precautions and everything in place that honors everyone's feelings about all the things that are unfolding, but honest to God. We gathered for Wings Up last year. It literally changed the course of this movement, and I believe changed the lives of many. We had an incredible attendance, both live and virtually, and just really encourage you to check those out, because the way we actually co-create the golden age over the next, you know, all the course of our lifetime, it's through a continual gathering, just as we gather here online for the prayer collective. And by learning how, meeting each other, learning how to love one another, learning about each other's ideas and how we're embodying these teachings together, it's really exciting and incredibly dynamic. Our first event will be in Austin in May, and I'm going to be offering something that usually is reserved for our VIP immersives. I'm going to be getting people up on stage with me, up at the mic, and I call it Step Up to the Mic, Divine Interventions, and we do these incredible coaching sessions live in front of everyone for your spiritual leadership. So there's just so much great content. I just get really excited sharing about everything. This is a really special year of the dragons. Thank you for allowing me the space to share a little bit about it. I love you all so much. It's an honor to be here with you. And we'll see you all here next month, third Sunday of the month. Have a beautiful, blessed full moon. Namaste.